But don't look in your rearview mirror, here comes number 8. He's a rocker and a roller and he sure knows how to shut 'em down. I guess he runs independent until the dead is back in town. Yeah, I guess he runs independent until the dead is back in town. That boy, stand on it, son.
And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that the inaugural NASCAR Strictly Stock Series race was held June 19, 1949 in Charlotte Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina? A total of 33 drivers took part in the inaugural event, which comprised of 200 laps on a 0.75-mile dirt oval racetrack. Jim Roper won the race. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fam 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
What's up, guys?
So let's get started talking about the crazy weekend at Bristol. We're going to start off with the truck race. What did you think?
This whole weekend was a W. Just before we talk about each single series race, I felt like this weekend was definitely one of the best, if not the best, of the season. We saw great races in the Truck Series, Xfinity race, and the Cup race, which you love to see. And we saw a packed Bristol Speedway. Usually over the past couple of years, it's not been slam packed full of fans, but there was a lot of people there from what I've seen, and it was just awesome to see. The truck race was really good. I thought Sheldon Creed was going to win that race. He was up front almost the entire race. If I'm correct, he won stage 1 and stage 2. We saw some crashes in that race. One of them was Haley Deegan and Austin Hill's hard crash.
Austin Hill, the 16 involved, along again with Austin Wayne Self. That's a heartbreaker right there for that group. That changes everything. Austin Hill winning at Homestead, Miami.
Yeah, that's late in the replay to see exactly how it all unfolded.
Man, he sounded like he might have come down on someone a little bit. Haley Deegan was solid on the top 15 all night long. Lala
Lost track of the truck's handling.
Oh,
just,
man.
Haley had nowhere to go. That is such a tough call with all the different safer barriers now. Trucks, cars, everything turn into ping pong balls at this place.
Turn 1, if I'm correct. That was a pretty hard hit. But I feel like the truck race was pretty decent. And for some reason, my brain went dead. I don't remember who won the race all of a sudden, but I know I picked Spencer Boyd to win that race.
You know, Christian, it was a very odd pick to win the race. Chandler Smith won it.
Oh, yeah, Chandler Smith. I was going to say, yeah, Chandler Smith. The 1 week I do not pick him to win, he wins. And I picked him 3 times to win a race this season, and then all of a sudden he decided to win. But yeah, congratulations to Chandler Smith. I've been hoping he would get a win this season, and he finally got it done.
Yeah, I didn't really watch the race too much. I was watching a football game. But from what I did see of it, it looked pretty interesting. Normal truck racing at Bristol. Not really too special besides that finish. I thought Sheldon Creed was going to win the race.
Yeah.
He was mostly dominating. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm not really missing too much here. I'll just watch, the end of the football game. I watched the football game, and then the race finishes, and then I didn't even get a notification of who won until I looked on Instagram. I'm like, wait. Chandler Smith won the race. It was so odd, and it was a great finish too. If you haven't seen the finish, here's the clip.
Got a good launch. Camping World 5 to go at Bristol. He's there. Chandler Smith racing for all he's worth. Rubbing doors. Can Creed hold him off? He's gonna hit him. Smith back to the inside. He's there. Sideways off 4. Smith and Creed battling. Smith's got
he missed it. He missed it. There's Hunter Nemechek.
Creed is in the wall, and now Hunter Nemechek is in. John Hunter Nemechek.
He's got a flat left rear. I think Creed's got a flat left rear. He's going to end up wrecking. Look at Nemechek sideways.
And Chandler
Back to the
gets
lead.
around.
I mean, whether he overdrove it or gave it back, I'm not sure, but look at this. 2 KBM trucks battling for the lead. They don't know what they're doing right now, trying to figure it out. And there's
Creed is still out. Nemechek got into the left corner of Chandler Smith a little bit, but Smith now starting to pull away, and it looks like maybe Nemechek's got a problem as Infinger moves into second.
Chandler Smith executed the restart perfectly, and he's put himself in position. Here's the white.
White flag is out for Chandler Smith. It will be his first career win, and it was in a must-win situation to advance to the next round of the playoffs. What a place to get your first career win. It's Bristol, baby, for Chandler Smith.
So, yeah, definitely a pretty solid race that I wish that I could have watched more of. But let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 4 of you said great, 3 of you said good, 2 of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. Henry24257 says, lots of surprising names eliminated. Didn't expect Hill for a first round exit.
Yeah.
And no driver of the day. I'll give it to Sheldon Creed for just his dominance, but that really sucks at the end. But that's just Bristol racing.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Austin Hill was definitely a surprise to miss the next round. And I actually had him, if I'm correct, in the Final Four. And Austin Hill, he won a lot last year and this year. And he just, we've seen this before in the Cup Series where drivers have good seasons and then first round, they just miss it. And it just shows you the playoff system. It could mess people up.
I just want to mention one thing that was really cool about the Chandler Smith thing. I just realized it. He was like on the bottom of the cut line, like all playoffs. And in this race, a lot of people were talking about like he was going to get eliminated, and then he clutched up and won. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the Xfinity race. What did you think?
Well, one driver that didn't clutch up that I picked to win, Ty Gibbs, he missed the next round of the Xfinity playoffs. He ended up, he's now 13th in the playoff standings. I don't remember where he finished.
No, they haven't even started the playoffs yet. They're starting
they haven't?
this week. And Ty Gibbs isn't even in the playoffs because he's part-time.
Oh, wow. Well, according to my computer, it says that he is out the cut line. So, yeah, my fault, people. I thought they started the playoff for the Xfinity Series. Man, I feel like an idiot. But that Xfinity race was incredible. We saw a lot of great passing. There was a lot of wrecking, but that was expected. And I did not expect to see that finish there. If you haven't yet, here's the clip.
Side by side, Allmendinger, Cindric for the race win, for the regular season championship. Hemrick never won in NASCAR, looking for his first win. Allgaier, he's seen a little aggression already in this race. What will he do on the restart here? Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones behind them in row 3. We are in overtime, presented by Credit One Bank.
A great restart to the outside. The 7 of Allgaier right on the bumper of the 22. But the 16 battles back.
Here comes Allmendinger. It's Cindric and Allmendinger into 3 and 4. Allmendinger up the racetrack. They make contact. 3 wide for the lead. 1 lap to go. Here comes Allgaier on the inside. They go up the racetrack. Allmendinger back in on the inside. He takes the lead. More contact behind him. The race for the win through 3 and 4. Allmendinger, Cindric, side by side. Allmendinger wins it at the line.
Hard crashing off into turn 1. I cannot believe what I just saw.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy. I know some people were saying it was like the best finish in NASCAR, best Xfinity race of all time. That's a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion, but I will say it's definitely one of the best Xfinity finishes and races that I've ever seen. And AJ Allmendinger won the race. He did the post-race interview from the Infield Care Center.
Well, and he has exited the Infield Care Center. I don't know if I've ever seen anything so bizarre. but you now have the house, my friend. How about those fans sticking around to see what you did here tonight? Regular season champion and race winner, A.J. Allmendinger.
I mean, that was crazy at the end, you know. We had about a 4th place car. My team did a great job. We just kept trying to work on it in there. You know, you got a chance on the bottom and got in there, and I slid into Austin trying to throttle up and stay on the bottom. And, you know, then into 1, Allgaier had a run, and there was contact there, so went down the last corner. I expected to get run into. You know, it happened in the previous corner. It's frustrating to get hit that hard coming to the checkered, but we're battling for the win. It's Bristol, baby. This is what it's all about. You know, I haven't had a lot of chances to ever in my life win at Bristol, so you know what? You get a chance to go do it, you got to do it. And if I don't take that chance, I don't belong in the race car because you know, my team deserves to win. So proud to have Barger Precast on the car for their 2nd race, home race for them. So it's cool to get another new sponsor into victory lane, and you know, not the way you want to finish a race like that, destroying a lot of race cars, but I love you guys. It's Bristol, baby. This is a dream come true for this year. Thank you so much. Whether you love me or hate me for that, you know what? Just keep being you guys, because this is what makes the sport badass. Thank you.
AJ, look.
And that was a hard hit. He got nailed. Austin Cindric going for the win. I know a lot of people were like blaming Cindric, booing Cindric.
I think Austin Cindric wants to see a replay on this one. Austin, your take on the battle for the win, which also turned out to be the battle for the regular season championship?
That wasn't a question. I thought we had a really great battle all season long up to this point, so congratulations to Colleague and AJ. Those guys didn't want us to win really bad, and I hate that it completely destroyed our Menards Richmond Ford Mustang. That's all I got, man.
Here's a replay, Austin.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I feel like it was just short track racing. They were all bumping each other out of the way in the final lap. Justin Allgaier, he was bumping people too. And that's just the product of Bristol. And one driver that got spun out that a lot of people thought could have possibly won the race was Maya Snyder. No, it wasn't Snyder. It was Sam Mayer that got taken out by Justin Allgaier. And a lot of people were like, oh, Justin Allgaier is such a, you know, just people just saying their things, being toxic online. And they're like, he's so low for that. And it was a bad look. But at the same time, it wasn't intentional, I don't think. I don't think you purposely take out his teammate like that. That was a good race. It's definitely like a 9.9 out of 10 race.
Yeah, this is a race that I also didn't get to watch the full thing. I really was watching more toward the end, luckily. But I thought from what I saw, it was pretty solid. Like I said, with the truck race, it was mostly normal, like Bristol racing. One point that I want to make up is pressing F to pay respect for this guy, the guy who fell on his butt on national TV because he slipped on the gas because of Spencer Boyd's fuel can.
And it came off of the 90 of Spencer Boyd.
You see, he's shaking.
Yeah, he had to work it to get it off.
Yeah.
Equipment removed from the box, Steve. I think this is a penalty.
And it's for sure removed. Safety crews coming to attention, and down he goes.
I saw that and I was laughing. Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, I will say. And I remember I was going to make a meme about how everyone was rushing to meme this guy because I was at work though, because I was working for Dirt Vision that night. I was covering a race for Jacksonville Speedway, but that race did end up going pretty late. But I remember checking my phone, and not long after the guy fell, I already was seeing 10 memes about the guy falling. I'm like, every single meme page is going to be talking about this for the rest of the night. And I was like, this is insane. Everyone was just hopping on, oh, let's make a meme about this guy. But it was a bro moment, but I do kind of feel bad for him. because of all the oil that was leaking out on the track that came from not oil, the fuel from the fuel tank that was carried off during that caution flag.
Yeah, I'm probably going somewhere very bad for laughing at that guy's embarrassing moment. But Allgaier spinning out his teammate, I'm an Allgaier fan. That he was kind of wrong for that. I mean, I don't know if he was trying to get to his quarter panel. From the angle that I saw, it looked like he just flat out dumped him for no reason. But I don't know if he was trying to go for the bump and run or if it was an actual dump. But I don't know. That's not that great of a way to race your teammate, Justin. But all right, man. And that finish, oh my God, it seemed like anybody's race once that restart happened. Because at the beginning of the restart, everybody just thought, it was going to be Cindric and Allmendinger, and then Allgaier put his name in the mix. Riley Herbst was actually in the mix too.
Yep, he was.
And just that craziness. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it's not even in a bad way. Just how do you describe it? It was just so amazing. And then when
it's incredible.
Allmendinger got wrecked down the finish line, I couldn't believe it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Oh! I didn't know like what to say, and I've never seen a driver interview from the infield care center after they won the race, and then he just walked into victory lane with no car.
Oh, we've seen wreck cars go to victory lane before with Terry Labonte of Bristol in 1995, and take another example of Davey Allison 1992 All-Star race, but yeah, we hadn't seen an interview.
I know, but I've just never seen victory lane with no car, just driver.
Yeah, that was an odd one too. Like, I remember going back to Davey Allison one from 1992 All-Star race. He got hurt in that wreck and he had to go to the hospital. So they just put the car in victory lane and the crew in victory lane, and the driver wasn't there. But that's something for another time.
Interesting. That's an extra fact. So now let's take a look at what you guys have to say. 14 of you said great. One of you said good. None of you said meh/okay, and none of you said bad. Henry 24257 says, "Holy HE double hockey sticks! The finish was it, and a drag race, and my two favorite drivers won too. Yes!"
Exclamation point. I think that might be a record for the most greats we've ever had for a race. 14. So. That's crazy.
There was one where everybody said great. I can't remember how many that got though. Josiah _Calhoun, he's a part of the podcast, but he's not here tonight. He says finish was amazing, and NASCAR 3 fan says loved the race. Everybody just said like best Xfinity finish. It was crazy, awesome finish. Driver of the day is AJ Allmendinger, which I gotta agree with. He was dominating the race for the most part. Cindric was definitely up there too, and Allgaier, but I gotta give it to Allmendinger.
Man, it is a tough decision, but I have to go with AJ as well. I mean, it was either him or Cindric, and both of them have been really good this season. Cindric with 5 wins in 26 starts. AJ has 4 wins in 26 starts, and it's crazy. They've had such great seasons, and there's only 7 times that Cindric was not in the top 10.
Yeah, and I remember when we were making early predictions for the Xfinity playoffs, I said Allgaier was going to win the championship. I am changing my pick to AJ Allmendinger.
Why are you changing it now? We've already done the predictions, bro.
Well, too bad. The playoffs haven't started yet, so I have time.
Okay, that's a good point. I keep getting used to the Xfinity Series playoffs starting around the same time as the Cup Series, so my fault. I don't know why.
I don't know why they're not starting. They didn't all start at the same time, so that's a little strange.
Like, didn't the trucks started? The trucks started before the Xfinity.
The truck started way before the Cup did. Why did I say Cups?
Like, I don't know. It's just interesting to see.
Speaking of Cup, that race, what did you think?
I thought it was a great race as well. And man, I picked Joey Logano to win, and I was disappointed, Mike. I was disappointed in your favorite driver. I thought he was going to have a good race. I mean, he was up there at some points, but if I'm correct, I don't remember where he finished, but it was like mid-pack. And yeah, Kyle Larson with the W. Kyle Larson adds to his trophies this season and continuing to have such an incredible comeback story. I know that the main news from that race was the Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick feud, and they had a good battle there. But a lot of people just overreact to little things like this. I will say Chase Elliott, he was whining a little bit too much. Even though I am a Chase Elliott fan, I do think that Chase Elliott was a little bit overreacting, but at the same time, he's ran people high at Bristol before and in other tracks. Kevin Harvick and him are just battling for position. It wasn't like Harvick just dumped him in the wall. He kind of went high. They both had some contact, and Elliott did lose a good bit of positions because I think he had a cut tire. And Kevin Harvick, he was looking for his first win of the season. I don't blame Harvick. I mean, I was hoping he would get the win there at the end, but he couldn't get it done. So, and then, of course, I feel like they kind of over-exaggerated the little post-race pointing the finger, a little bit of a it wasn't even an altercation. It was just like an argument or a feud. I feel like it was a little bit over-exaggerated, but at the same time, two drivers being mad at each other. We haven't seen that very often this season. We haven't seen many fights at all this season. So I thought it was a W as well. Definitely like an 8 out of 10 race.
Yeah, I enjoyed the race. Normal. This is a big trend. Normal racing at Bristol. Bristol's always great. One thing I noticed from all three races is that once somebody led, they pulled away by like a second within like 5 or 10 laps. So very interesting there, besides the final few laps. But overall, solid race. I didn't expect Larson to win. And then my take on the Chase Elliott and Harvick feud. Basically, if you haven't seen it, here's the clip.
Down to that bottom now.
Oh, I think the 9 has a flat. The 9, the flat left front of the 9.
Yep.
Yeah, come on down. Come on down. It's flat.
He tries to get that.
4 times.
He does under green. And Elliott continues to fall back.
They're going to change 4 tires on this car. It happened so quick, Dale. They didn't know which tire was flat.
Got to pull this front damage out.
It was too late. That's a disadvantage of having the second stall in on that front stretch pit road.
Well, the advantage for the 9, if he's advanced, he's not.
Pull that out. Pull that out. Behind the tire. Pull it out.
Yeah, he's going to advance, but what it does is it's shaking up the other drivers right there at the cut line. Almirola now 1 point back.
Right side tailpipes on the 4. They're just in front of that right rear tire. I would have to imagine transfer spot into the next round. And look at these two on pit road.
Two positions, couldn't find them on the racetrack, as we see still. Elliott and Harvick.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if these two get to talk. I think Harvick's going to try to shadow this 9 car down pit road.
Chase Elliott, he's going to end up 25th. And quickly getting the helmet off. Both drivers climbing out quickly. Harvick keeps his helmet on.
Explain something with his hand motions. Harvick still has his helmet on at the moment. And no physical contact. It looks like Harvick is now turning his shoulder, starting to walk away. Now he turned around, they're having more words. And in the meantime, we see Kyle Larson hitting it. All right, so that's going on the backstretch. Meanwhile, on the
Unfortunate emotions at Bristol. Flaring up here, as you can see, Harvick is getting more and more agitated. Larson celebrating. It's win number 6.
Of course, not happy with Chase Elliott, so let's start there. What was the conversation between you and Chase after the race?
I just told him, it was kind of a chicken move that he did there at the end. We're racing for the freaking win at Bristol. We're 3 wide in the middle, and he throws a temper tantrum like I was just trying to get the lead and racing hard. And then he pulls up in front of me and just sits there until I lose the whole lead. So, just hate it for our Subway Ford Mustang team, to be able to lose a race like that. And I watched him let the 24 go by, and then anytime you run into him, it's a problem. So they can boo all they want. I don't care.
Now, you don't feel you were raced very well by Kevin there?
Oh, well, it's something he does all the time. He runs into your left side constantly at other tracks, and sometimes it does cut down your left side. Other times it didn't, or it doesn't. He did it to me in Darlington a few weeks ago because he was tired of racing with me. And whether he did it on purpose, it doesn't matter. At some point you got to draw the line. So I don't care who he is or how long he's been doing it. I'm gonna stand up for myself and my team, and we'll go on down the road.
This happens a lot of places. You said things like this typically happen at Bristol.
Issue, you got to make things happen, and we've seen it year after year after year. Harvick said the conversation continues. This is live between Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick. Well, Hendry Motorsports got all 4 cars in, as well as Joe Gibbs Racing. So the battle's going to continue, and the battle between these two is going to continue as we go in the playoffs.
Water bottle in Kevin Harvick's hand, water bottle in Chase Elliott's hand, and the discussion continues. You can tell neither of them are happy with each other.
I know you've been a victory lane before, but not in the Cup Series, and I know you've been wanting to get a hold of one of these pieces of hardware and the score. How does it feel to be here tonight?
On the left, Josh Jones works at
Kevin Harvick Incorporated.
Yeah, business manager.
As upset as we saw Kevin Harvick when he got out of the car, slammed the helmet on the top of the car. This discussion has continued, and it doesn't look like it's over as far as the frustrations. They haven't been worked out. And how does that affect both drivers later on? Jordan Bianchi there, the beat reporters, NASCAR.
I think Harvick's saying, hey, look, man, I'm trying to have a conversation. Chase and I just have a conversation. I really don't want you videoing this. But Jordan doesn't care.
So they're actually going to, they're going to continue the conversation, but they want to do it apparently away from cameras. So they're going to go into the Napa Auto Parts hauler, which is that's pretty nice of Chase to open that up.
Say one thing.
So, in my opinion, they got held up by the 52, which I believe was Josh Bilicki or JJ Yeley, one of the two. They got held up there, and then Elliott went like on his side, and he was kind of like side sucking Harvick, and Harvick had to get him off. I don't blame Harvick. He had to get him off and did that aggressive maneuver to get him off, and that apparently cut Chase's tire down, and no worries for Chase there. I understand why he was upset about that, but in my opinion, Chase took it a little too far, and I'll explain why I think he did in a little bit. But as for like Chase helping Harvick out, you can't get mad at Logano and Chastain for helping their teammates out, because a lot of people were getting mad at Logano and Chastain for helping Blaney and Kurt Busch at Atlanta. Actually, ironically, both at Atlanta, respectively.
Yeah.
And but Chase Elliott does it because he's the golden boy, and all of a sudden no one cares. Oh, he's just trying to help his teammate. But yeah, Joey Logano or Ross Chastain does it. Take him out of the cars.
I mean, you're not wrong, but not all Chase fans are like that. But I mean,
I'm not saying all of them. I just have to make fun of the select few. But yeah, I think that Chase was in the wrong with like pointing his finger in Harvick's face. Like, what? Don't do that. Harvick, I don't think Harvick probably should have taken his helmet off. I don't know why he left his helmet on, but okay. But Chase, Harvick looked like he wanted to like solve the problem without having an altercation. And then once Chase was like pushing him and putting his finger in his face, Harvick looked like he was ready to go. And I don't blame Harvick at all for that. And Chase was kind of over-exaggerating things by being like, he does that to people every week. If he really did that to people every week, you would see more big names with cut tires. But you don't see that every week. I haven't seen that many big names this season have that many bumping incidents like what happened with Chase and Harvick. And as a matter of fact, I lost a lot of respect for Chase Elliott listening to him whining like that and putting his finger in Harvick's face. I think they handled it at least.
Yeah.
Holler. So
they had a little holler meeting even after their interviews and all that to hopefully solve it. So
I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to see where this goes, but at the same time, I know it's not going to last more than a week.
Yeah, it's not going to. Like, I know a lot of people want that to happen, but it's just honestly like not going to happen.
Yeah, and then we can't talk about how Chase Elliott, he's done similar moves, like he wrecked Matthew Benedetto at Daytona.
Big run for Chase Elliott. He goes up top to try to block. The 21 tries to go by the 9. They make contact. The 9 into the wall. The 9 slides the 21 into the wall. He collects them in a big crash happening.
So much blocking.
A couple weeks ago, he's wrecked Joey Logano last year at Bristol.
He didn't keep it. 3 to go.
Wow, what a battle here. They touch.
Little bump and run there from Chase Elliott. They're up and in the wall. Here comes Keselowski.
Wow.
And Kyle Busch.
He's wrecked a couple of other people. There's only a couple times where, like, he's like cut someone's tire down, like Denny Hamlin at Phoenix, for example, a few years back.
Denny Hamlin all the way down, cutting the corner, trying to get by the 2. He does. He clears the 24, of Chase Elliott. Now Chase Elliott puts the bumper to the back of the 11. What would Chase Elliott do? Both getting in the gas about the same time. Over 130 miles an hour as they enter turn 3, and bumper goes to the back of the 11 again.
Way up the racetrack.
Oh, into the wall goes the 11. The 24. Pinched the 11 into the wall. You heard the crowd, and now tire smoke coming out of the 11.
The last rear rub, it looks like. Not bad.
Yeah. That was justified. So, yeah, I mean, I'm Team Harvick on this one, honestly. But he did do the wrong thing by keeping his helmet off. That's the only complaint I have for Harvick.
Now, another thing that a lot of people have been saying after this weekend, a lot of people have been saying that Bristol should host the championship race next season, or maybe the season after that. I know they already announced it for the schedule, if I could speak English, the schedule for next season. So a lot of people were discussing about maybe Bristol being the host in 2023. So what's your thoughts about that?
I like it. Personally, I don't have like a set place for them to have a championship race, but here are a couple of ideas I have in mind. Bristol, I mean, I wasn't too sure about having it at Bristol, but after watching this race, I'm sold. I would love to see it happen at least 1 year at Bristol. Daytona would be another cool race, but I know a lot of people would probably have a problem with it because, let's say, all the championship contenders wreck out. But I feel like it would be really interesting to see like how conservative they get with trying to push and not get involved in wrecks and just try to keep themselves afloat so they have an even shot to win it. Charlotte, I know me and you were talking about this before we started recording. Charlotte would be a very interesting track. The oval, not maybe the oval because it would be something a little different, but I think the oval is like an even playing ground. What am I saying?
Yeah.
And it,
we talked about that. Like Charlotte would be an interesting one to host because it is like the NASCAR capital of the U.S., North Carolina, and a lot of the teams are located near Charlotte. And I feel like they would be trying their best to definitely get a lot of practice in and be able to get the best equipment that they have to be able to put on a big show. And I think it'd be cool to have Charlotte not just do the oval once a season, but twice again, even though I do like the Roval. So I still feel like the Roval should still be on the schedule, but at the same time, I think Charlotte would be an interesting option to have for the host of the championship race.
Yeah, definitely. So here's what you guys have to say. 6 of you said great. 1 of you said good. None of you said mad/okay, and none of you said bad. Henry24257 says the playoff drivers' issues combined with the Harvick and Elliott drama, 100 out of 10.
I didn't mention this, but he did bring up the playoff drivers not making it to the next round. I was quite saddened that my favorite driver, Eric Almirola, didn't make it to the next round, but it didn't surprise me. I knew he was not too far above the cut line, and he had some problems and mechanical issues. So unfortunately, he did not advance. But I think everyone expected that. Same thing with like Michael McDowell and Tyler Reddick. So it is what it is.
Henry would also like to add.
Wonder who this is. If you love you some Rowdy, let me hear you go boom. That's my man right there. I love it. Encouraging. That's good right there, man. Right? Hey, embrace it. Embrace it, man.
So yeah, that was very funny. Probably the best driver intro I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good. Wasn't
Kyle Busch is by far the most entertaining NASCAR driver.
I'm not a Kyle Busch fan, but I like how he entertains and his persona.
Exactly.
It's great for the sport. And we've seen drivers in the past like Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch do the same thing, but not to the extent of Kyle. I feel like Kyle has gone far beyond that, and he's done it for a long time compared to them, because there was one point where it was like Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick began their careers. They were just known as hotheads.
Right.
For Kyle Busch, he's been known as a hothead for almost his entire career, and he's still. He does have a huge fan base. But there's also most of the NASCAR fan base that doesn't like him. And for reasons most people know why and understand. But Kyle Busch definitely a great driver, and he's great for the sport. You can't argue against that.
I agree. And let's take a look at what you guys have to say about the Harvick and Elliott drama. Hold on. Ooh, a lot of thoughts. All right. Jose _ Pedro _ Rodriguez says that Harvick didn't take off his helmet to take a shot with Chase Elliott. Yeah, we mentioned that. Henry 24257 says Chase Elliott wrecked Logano and Blaney, so the diptard is an idiot. He'd be a nobody without his dad.
Yo.
Damn.
Wow. Oof.
I
Shots fired.
am Matt G Pastor says Elliott has female genitalia.
That's insane. I've never heard that before. I don't even know how to respond. Like, I mean, what are these people talking about? Like, I mean, I don't even know, man. Like,
Okay.
I don't even know.
We actually get a cool thought here. I'm a God 248 says hard racing both have a right to be mad. It's Bristol, baby. You are so right, sir.
I think that's like the most non-sus comment from that section. But I will say, like, I mean, of course, a lot of people have their opinions. It's right to say their opinions, but bro, like, I mean, just don't bring up inappropriate stuff, especially because this is this is family
It's supposed
content,
to be
right?
a family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, family-friendly content. So I mean, you said it was another word. So Mike, thank you for I guess rephrasing what he actually said. So
No. He said it just like that.
I apologize for what that guy said.
He said it just like that too. And then I did a poll. One of you is on Elliott's side, and 10 of you are on Harvick's side. Jeez.
Oh wow, that's a big majority.
And the driver of the day is Larson, which I gotta agree with.
Yeah, Larson, he led the most laps, if I'm correct, and I feel like he's driver of the day too. If not him, then I would have to give it to, say, Harvick.
And congratulations for Levi Widner, 5681, for guessing Kyle Larson to win the race. So now let's talk about some news. This not really NASCAR related, like of the 3 series, but it's just something a little interesting. David Gilliland has been fined, suspended, and placed on probation for violation of the ARCA rulebook for trying to go after Drew Dollar.
I saw that, and Todd Gilliland, if I'm correct, he got wrecked, and I can understand why David would be upset, but at the same time, David, like, you're not a driver. You're not allowed to go up and try to fight them. But we've seen in different series, if I'm correct, one ARCA race, I don't think you've ever heard of this, Mike, but there was one guy one time where it was towards the end of the race, he wrecked Frank Kimmel, and he was acting like he won the race. He was kind of showboating and all that. Frank tried to go after him. This is back in the 90s. I forgot the driver's name, so if I do find it, Mike can put it up on the screen.
Hang on, Mildred. Here they come. Who's it gonna be?
This one guy, I think it was one of Frank's friends and his crew chief went to confront the guy, and one of them punched the one driver, and a full-out brawl happened, and a sign got knocked down. So we've seen some fans like confront and all that, but a father, that's something I've not heard of very often. I know Lee Petty, there's a couple of things I've read about with Lee Petty defending Richard Petty at times, back in the 60s and late 50s. But yeah, I feel like the penalty, he didn't swing. So my thing was, I felt like it was a little bit too harsh because David didn't like actually make physical contact with him. If he did, then it would have been, of course, like he could have gone to jail for that and much worse. So I could get why he got penalized, but at the same time, or not penalized, but, got a little bit of trouble. I just don't think that it was too severe, but at the same time, we don't know what David said to him.
I believe it was for Tanner Gray, not Todd Gilliland, but I mean, I can understand that from what I was hearing. I don't watch ARCA because I hear it's really boring. But from what I was hearing about, Drew Dollar kind of races dirty. And I don't know. I've never really heard of an owner going up and trying to protect their driver. But, I mean, that's cool, I guess. I mean, he's got to pay for the damaged car. So I could understand where you'd be a little upset about that. But I don't know. You gotta look at it from your team standpoint. You gotta be there for your team. You can't be getting suspended. But
yeah,
I understand why he would get upset.
Here, you said owner and all that. It reminds me of 2011. Richard Childress actually punched Kyle Busch.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Reportedly punched Kyle Busch after a truck race at Kansas because Kyle Busch wrecked one of his drivers. But Childress, I don't think he got a huge fine or anything. I know he did get in a little bit of trouble, but it wasn't serious. It just shows you how different it was back then compared to now too, because back then owners would fight drivers back in the 50s and 60s and they wouldn't get in trouble at all. And now it's just just making a verbal altercation could get you fined, penalized, in a lot of trouble with NASCAR. It just shows you how times have changed.
Right. All right, so we're going to get started on another topic. We're going to talk about paint scheme review, and we are going to review some paint schemes, starting off with Kevin Harvick's Subway car. First of all, it's weird seeing him without Jimmy John's, but all right. This is a pretty nice scheme, I got to say. If I were to think of Subway, I would think of these colors. I really like the shade of green they used, and the yellow fits in just right. 9 out of 10.
This car is amazing. I'm happy to see Subway back in the sport. Tony Stewart used to have Subway as a sponsor. Same thing with Carl Edwards. And I was quite surprised that Kevin Harvick got Subway as a sponsor instead of Jimmy John's, because he's been with Jimmy John's for so long. And Subway, I feel like the colors, the green and yellow and white, I feel like is an amazing scheme. 10 out of 10.
Next up is Bubba Wallace's new McDonald's car. I like this one much better than the original one that he drove this season. I like the French fries on the car. That was a nice touch. And I like that they added much more red. It definitely looks more McDonald's to me. This is another... Actually, you know what? I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. This is perfect for McDonald's.
I will say, we've criticized Bubba Wallace's paint schemes in the past and roasted. But this one right here, I have to agree with you. This is actually really good. And I think this is the best scheme he's had. The fries, like you said, the detail, it gives me a lot of Jamie McMurray vibes. And I mean, it's better than some of Jamie McMurray's McDonald's schemes. I think this is a 10 out of 10 as well.
And then next up, we have Quinn House Boss Hoss Cycles. This is a pretty interesting scheme. I like the wings. I don't know why they're two different colors, because on the front end it's red, and then on the logo it's yellow. So that's a little interesting. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Quinn Hoof. We didn't mention this earlier, but he caused a couple cautions in the race at Bristol. A lot of people were pretty frustrated about that. This car is all right. It's pretty decent, especially for a small team and all that. I'm not going to hate on it. So, I mean, it's okay. To me, it's a 6 out of 10.
And then next up, we have Parker Klingerman's Lux Beans. This is boring. It's a simple scheme. You got a bean can. I'm going to give this like a 4.
I mean, I did not think I would see today that there'd be another bean company on a NASCAR, because we've seen baked beans, Bush's baked beans before, but Lucky's beans, I've never heard of it before. I think this is quite interesting, and I like that they put the beans beside the number. I actually really like this scheme, man. I really do. I have to give that an 8 out of 10 because it's unique, and we haven't seen anything like that in a while.
And next up, we have Zane Smith's Carl scheme. This looks so much like Stuart Friesen's primary scheme. Like, did the spotters have trouble figuring out who was who? It looks so similar, but I'll give it a 7.
Sorry, I was looking at the chat. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it for some reason. But
here you go. I sent it.
Oh, that one. I like this one a lot because I like the way they put the logo on the hood of this car. The red. It gives me the red K, if that's a K. It reminds me a lot of a car from the 90s, and the Kmart car from the 90s. And I think this is definitely a car you run at night, which was run at Bristol. And this one's a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoy this car.
And then next up is BJ McLeod's Honor and Remember scheme. This kind of reminds me of Jimmy Johnson's, I believe it was his first patriotic scheme with Ally, like so much. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10, I guess.
I'm pulling it up right now. It's quite interesting, I'll say. It seems like there's a lot more detail into this paint scheme than you think. But it mainly looks military color. I think it's an all right car. I don't think it's great, but at the same time, I think it's a decent scheme. Of course, the meaning behind it's great and all. I'm just rating the scheme based off looks, and I have to say that's 6 out of 10.
And then next up, we have Daniel Suarez's Coca-Cola Hispanic Heritage Month. I like what they did with this car. Coke gets its branding, and Mexico gets some recognition with Hispanic Heritage Month. I really like this a lot. I'll give it 8.59 out of 10.
I have to say that this is definitely one of the best Suarez schemes. He's had a good bit of decent ones in the past, especially when he's in the 41 with Coca-Cola. And this one, I have to agree with you. It's just lit. I have to give this a 9.5 out of 10.
And then next up, we have Tyler Reddick's Food City car. It's just a plain Tyler Reddick scheme. He always has the same scheme, similar to what Penske does, but just different colors. I mean, I don't mind this car, so I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I have to give it a 6 as well, man.
And then next up, we have Ryan Preece's Viva Towels. This looks okay. I don't mind the purple and the white. That's what a Viva paper towel packaging would look like. I'll give it another 6.
The one I see of Ryan Preece is the Natural Light Vodka car. Looks like Pepto-Bismol. That's probably not the one you just described, so I'm trying to find it.
No, I just sent it to you, but we'll review the Pepto-Bismol car.
Oh,
next.
this one looks like grape juice a little bit, but
It does.
It's an okay scheme. This one's like, I don't know, it's just Something you'd see at Richmond. Give that like a 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, and what Christian said, the natural light vodka car, this for sure looks like Pepto-Bismol. Like what? Like I saw it, I'm like, wait, is this Pepto-Bismol? Like everything is Pepto-Bismol, but
Or
I don't know. I
bubblegum.
kind of like it. I would expect him to run it more in October. I guess that's when he's running it. I'm not entirely sure. Well, it says Las Vegas, and that's still in September, but he should run it in October because it would be perfect for breast cancer awareness. I'm gonna give it a 7. Actually, I actually don't mind it.
I've seen a couple pink cars run at Talladega too, so I think that it would have been Talladega, but no. This car's all right. It's definitely interesting. Part of it looks like a B, and then of course there is Pepto-Bismol reference. This car, I'm gonna have to give it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. It's just okay to me. It's not like too great or anything like that.
And then next up is Howie DeSavino's Bud/Keys Travel. I don't mind it. The blue and the yellow look pretty good together. I'll give it another 6.
This one's a decent car. I like to see yellow and blue combination for paint schemes. I have to give that one about a 7.
And then next up is Clay Greenfield's Greenfield Pavement. I actually like this. For a small team, they did a pretty good job on it. It kind of looks like a late model scheme. I'll give this one a 7.
It looks like some from a like a bee or a wasp. It's all right to me. I've seen so many like cars like that before, so I can't give it a great rating. Gives me a little bit of Matt Kenseth vibes too. I have to give that like a 7.
And then next up is Kyle Larson's Tarleton scheme. I don't like it. What is this? It looks like Corey LaJoie's Meyer and Company. I don't remember. He drove a car that was basically similar to this. There's like no effort in it. They just put a couple of logos there, and they just are like, hey, here you go. Here's the car. And there's no design. What else? It's just simple, and a lot of people are liking it, but it looks like a test car to me. I'm giving this a 3.
I get your point. It does look like a test car, but I think one reason why it looks the way it does, of course, there's a little bit of yellow on the wing or on the back end, and I feel like they're trying to go a little bit like the Las Vegas Golden Knights, like hockey team colors, but at the same time, it's just more gray and black than I think it should have been. So I have to give that like a 4.5 out of 10.
And then finally tonight, we're going to end this on kind of a terrible note. Martin Truex Jr.'s Bass Pro Sherry Strong car. What is this? All the Sherry Strong cars that he's run ever since he's joined Joe Gibbs and Toyota have been great. I've loved them, especially the one that he drove at the Roval in 2018. But this, it's got the normal Bass Pro colors. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're just going to slab some blue. And that blue does not go well at all with the yellow and the red. And I love all the colors on the car, but they just don't look good together at all. Bass Pro Shops are being very cheap. So that's very disappointing to see there. No disrespect to Sherry, but this car is god-awful. 0 out of 10.
That's insane, Mike. First 0 out of 10 of the pace review, so it had to happen eventually. We had to have a really bad one, but this car, I agree with you. Why would you put this color on and then the front of the car be orange and black like the usual? It just baffles me. But I don't hate the car, but at the same time, it's just kind of disgusting to have that like mixed. Because if you're going to do that, have blue on almost the entire half the car or more, you better put it on the front to make it look like it's sort of matching. It looks like something was like a carpenter bee, but orange. And then like if it had like blue water on it, it's just dog water at this point. But I mean, I just don't like it. Like the combination. Of course, I like the reason behind it and all that, and I have no hate or malice, of course, or dislike against SherryStrong.com or .org or his team and all that. I mean, I'm not a huge Gibbs fan, or Trex fan, but I'm not trying to sound like I hate them or anything like that. But I'm just saying, this car is definitely the worst I've seen from their team in a while. And even looking at some of the comments, some people are like 5 out of 10, it's okay. Another one, this car is crap. Another one, I hate it and I love it at the same time. It depends on what car I'm looking at, which there isn't a car to look at. Just looking at some of these comments, the designer of this one needs some serious kudos. Looks like a good car. There's a couple fanboys that are like, oh, this car is great. Then there's someone that says, that car looks like someone threw up on it. So, I mean, we just seeing mixed reviews in the comment section, and it's quite insane. It's a surprising scheme. When I saw them run it, I was just like, huh? Like, is this Truex Jr.'s car? So, I know it's rambling, but my point is the rating, 1 out of 10. We're at the part of our episode where we count down the top 10, and this week, my top 10, or our top 10, is the top 10 moments at Las Vegas. So starting off at number 10, I have Jimmy Johnson's win in the 2010 race, where he became the all-time leader in wins at 1.5 mile tracks. Roll the clip.
Gotta be careful down underneath your teammate like that. Don't want to suck up into him.
Well, I think Johnson wants to take advantage of those tires early. He don't want to wait to do it as he turns down under him. They're side by side.
Ooh, he got lead. That car on the outside will pull that one on the inside around every time. Had to get out of the gas.
Jimmy Johnson has tried everything, and this time he got a run off turn number 2, and going into turn 3, Jeff Gordon said no mas, and Johnson has the lead.
The old slide job to perfection.
Johnson out of 4. And here he comes.
Very nice job, boys. You get
NASCAR's all-time winner on 1.5 mile tracks is Jimmy Johnson.
In the 2010 event at Las Vegas, it was the 3rd race of the season, held on February the 28th. And Kurt Busch was on the pole for this race. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson's teammate, led the most laps of 219. With 16 laps to go, Jimmy Johnson ended up passing Jeff Gordon to take the win. It was his 2nd straight win, and with the win, Jimmy Johnson, as I said before, became the all-time leader in wins at 1.5 mile tracks. So, number 9.
In at number 9 is Brad Keselowski winning the 2018 playoff opener. Here's the clip.
Brad Keselowski again out front. Could he win his 3rd race in a row? He won the Southern 500 2 weeks ago. Last week he wins the Brickyard 400. And now he's going to be able to punch his ticket into round 2. Coming out of turn 4, Keselowski wins 3 in a row. He'll win in Vegas.
Great job, everybody. Heck yeah.
The Stars and Stripes always ride along with Brad Keselowski after each win. We wondered who would win the 500th race for Team Penske. It has been decided. Brad Keselowski gets that organization's 500th win. The first win of the playoffs, ensuring him a spot in the round of 12.
It's really a testament to this team here. They've been so strong on pit road, and I couldn't have done it without them.
So this is in 2018, like I said. He held off Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. in an overtime finish, giving Team Penske its 500th win, and also Brad's 3rd straight win and advancing him to the 2nd round.
At number 8, we got Sterling Marlin overcoming a spin and coming back to get the win. Roll the clip.
The halfway point of the 400-mile race, Marlin spun off turn 4. He made a trip to the pits to check on his Dodge Intrepid, and he broke the pit road speed limit in the process. But missed communication between NASCAR officials saved the Chip Ganassi team from the 15-second penalty. Sensing a second light, Sterling rolled the dice and started reeling in the competition.
Sterling Marlin brings the Coors Light Dodge across the line for his ninth Winston Cup victory.
The win marked Marlin's third top 10 finish in as many races. The season's early championship favorite had officially made his presence known.
So Sterling Marlin recovered from an early spin to win the 2002 UA Daimler Chrysler 400 at Las Vegas with around 134 laps to go. He was trying to get the pit road, and he kind of checked up a little early, didn't let everyone know that he was pitting. Jerry Nadeau got into him, he spun, he saved it, and he ended up going down pit road, which he initially got a speeding penalty. He ended up coming back all the way to get the win. He led 37 laps, and the Silver Bullet increased his point lead to 75 points over Ryan Newman.
And in at number 7 is the Mike Skinner nosing Eric Darnell. Here's the clip.
This race would be over. Eric needs to do something now.
Mike Skinner looking to find victory lane again in his career. Problems behind him. Will that bring out the caution? Not yet. They're holding it out. No caution as of this point. It's going to be a battle. Here comes Eric Darnell. He charges to the outside. Coming out of turn number 4, side by side. Who's going to win it? It is going to be Mike Skinner. Skinner will win it over Eric Darnell.
How about that finish?
Big crash right in front of the start-finish line. Colin Brown with a lot of damage.
So this race was September 20th, 2008. Oh, my birthday. Except without the 2008 part. The Quickliner 350 had a dramatic finish between Mike Skinner and Eric Darnell, which we mentioned. They led the most laps with 38.56 of the 147 lap distance. Skinner nosed Eric by 0.2 seconds, one of the closest finishes in Truck Series history.
It was a thrilling finish indeed. And moving on to number 6, we got Mark Martin getting his final Xfinity Series win via a last lap pass. Roll the clip.
What a day, what a story this whole weekend. They started, you gotta be kidding me. They started with a crash, and they have been fighting their way back. But Mark Martin, there he is. Look out.
Hey, something wrong with him.
Keselowski's out of fuel. He's up into the wall.
Got a flat tire.
Flat tire.
You're out here.
Mark Martin takes over the lead. Mark Martin, who said he didn't have enough race car underneath him. And you said, DJ, don't believe him. When he says that, he usually ends up winning. And here he comes. He's going to extend that all-time mark. Mark Martin comes down to win here in Las Vegas.
We won, man. We won, dude.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
In the 2011 Samstown 300, it appeared that Brad Keselowski was going to get the win. He was out front there. Mark Martin was running second. And all of a sudden, last lap, turn 1, Brad Keselowski, he blew a tire and ended up in the wall. Mark Martin slid by, got the win. It's his 49th career Xfinity Series win, and it would be his final one in that series. Justin Allgaier would end up finishing second. Brad Keselowski third. And Danica Patrick had a career-high 4th in that race. Pole sitter Carl Edwards led the most laps with 68 out of 200, but ended up finishing 6th.
And in at number 5 is Jeff Burton and Kyle Busch's incredible battle for the win. Here's the clip.
Jerry, he is outrunning Kyle Busch 3/10 like Andy said. He's reeling him in big time.
He's going to get there.
Look at him flying on the top of that racetrack.
The 29 car, Jeff Burton, was frustrated about what happened at California. His car faded in the final laps. He said, this will not happen to me today. It is 4 car lengths. It is 3 car lengths. As the white flag waves, they have 1 lap. Can Jeff Burton get there?
Well, he's not fading now. Jeff Burton is right there.
It's a car length. It's a half a car length.
He's making his ground on the top side of the racetrack as he goes to the top. Wide open on the top of the track. It's going to be a drag race right to the end.
Here goes Burton on the high side. Busch makes the block out of turn 4. Burton squeezes high. They are door to door.
Jeff Burton.
Good job. Jeff Burton takes the win, and Kyle Busch slams the wall on the outside.
Unbelievable. You saw the 29 of
Here I
Jeff
come.
So this was the 2007 Samstown 300. It was one of the best finishes and one of the best races in Xfinity Series history. The field was filled with Cup drivers, 22 out of the 43 that started. Wow. In a 6-lap dash, Burton and Busch swapped the lead multiple times. Coming to the line, the two made contact, and Kyle Busch spun across the line in second. Burton first.
That was pretty crazy, I'll say. It was a pretty incredible finish. I thought Kyle Busch was going to win. I remember watching this race. I was like, man, Kyle Busch, he got a good run. And all of a sudden, Burton goes by him on the outside, and Busch had to door him and just spun himself out. So it was pretty incredible. And, I mean, that fact with all those Cup drivers in that race, and people were complaining about people leaching nowadays. Like, back then, a lot of Cup drivers were – even more of them were in the Xfinity Series races. It is pretty incredible. But
yeah, and if I'm correct, they could still fight for a championship down there, right?
Yeah, they could. They could have. I mean, we saw Brad Keselowski win in 2010, Kevin Harvick win before in the championship. So, yeah. So moving on to number 4, this one's quite popular. One of the most known Las Vegas moments of this is when Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran out of gas on the final lap, giving Brad Keselowski the win. Roll the clip.
Side off for 2, but Keselowski closes.
Oh, he's out.
He's got the lap, and Junior is out of gas.
3/4 of a lap. You're out.
Oh,
it's back running though. It's back running. It's probably not. It's going to keep surging on him.
Yeah.
And Brad Keselowski comes off the corner. Hole in one for the captain. Checkered flag for Keselowski.
Wow.
What a weekend.
Wow.
In the 2014 Cobalt 400, Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for his second win of the season. He had won 2 races previously. He won two races beforehand in the Daytona 500. And Brad Keselowski, he did lead a race at 53 laps, but he was running in second. And Junior Nation was like, "Yay, we're about to go back to victory lane," but nope. He ended up running out of gas there on the back stretch. Brad Keselowski got by, took the win, but they were so far ahead that Junior still ended up finishing second. And Paul Menard surprisingly got third, and there was only one car that DNF'd in that race, which is pretty crazy.
And in at number 3 is Jeff Gordon's hard crash in 2008. Here's the clip.
Jeff.
So Gordon comes up.
Oh,
he
got Kenseth. Oh, and there goes Jeff. Jeff's in the inside wall. Hard
into the wall. Caution will wave. Caution will wave. The field is frozen. We'll be coming back to 4.
This wreck occurred on the restart in the final laps. He jumped. Carl Edwards was the car to beat, jumping out to the lead for 86 laps. And he was in the lead for the restart of Gordon's crash. He got loose and hit Matt Kenseth, and it was not the first time they've collided, as we've talked about before on the podcast. Gordon hit the inside wall hard, and it was one of the most memorable crashes of his career. He ended up finishing 35th, and Edwards would win the race.
Yeah, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a strong day. He was up there most of the race with Greg Biffle. And Jeff Gordon was in contention. Gordon got loose there. He just got in a little too hot off turn 2 and got into Kenseth, and he wrecked himself. And it was a hard hit, and he was able to walk away, thankfully. And I mean, if that was back in the 90s, I'm sure most drivers would have got hurt in that. But it just shows you how far safety has come. But moving on to number 2, we got one of the best finishes and one of my personal favorite finishes in NASCAR history. And this was in the 2006 UAW Daimler Chrysler 400, where Jimmy Johnson knows Matt Kenseth. Roll the clip.
Got a good run.
Kenseth pulls the block, going off into turn 3. Johnson goes to the high side. He's going to try to get that momentum.
Jimmy Johnson
drag race. Won last year like this. Kenseth with the edge. Here comes Johnson.
Jimmy's
Momentum outside.
He's got it.
Johnson
48.
wins the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. He led 1 lap.
He got that run on the high side through 3 and 4.
I like it. I mean, it's an exciting finish. You got to like that.
So Matt Kenseth led a race high 146 to 270 laps, and it was a 3-lap shootout to the win. Jimmy Johnson was trying to get by, and he couldn't get by on the inside, but he was able to get a fantastic run off the final corner, going to the outside of Kenseth and nosed him at the line by 0.045 seconds. It was the only lap that Jimmy actually led the entire race, and it was his second straight win at the track. The next year, in 2007, Jimmy Johnson would get his third straight win at the track.
And in at number 1 is Joey Logano versus Kyle Busch in 2017 or 18. Here's the clip.
Stage, and there's trouble on pit road.
Is that Kyle Busch in the middle there?
It's Kyle Busch and Logano.
Kyle Busch and Joey Logano's crewmen involved there. Let's show you what happened out on the track to precipitate this.
A little bit of blood on the forehead there, Kyle Busch.
I like the looks of it.
First, let's show you what happened on track between the 22 and the 18.
Going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it's coming off 2, headed down the back.
It's a great battle. They go to the inside of the 2, a little bit of contact. The 22 gets to the white line. Oh, he gets loose underneath them.
Yeah, it gets into him.
I mean, it certainly wasn't intentional. It's just aggressive driving, going for the position.
So let's Kyle keep it out. I keep it off.
And then this, after the drivers climbed out of their cars.
It's like Kyle goes after Joey when Joey tried to talk to him.
They pulled Joey away, and that's Kyle with the 22 crew. Vince.
With Joey Logano now, and Joey, what happened when Kyle came to the car? What transpired there?
There wasn't much talking, just a lot of swinging. You know, just, I don't know, I was racing hard there at the end with our Pennzoil Ford, and, you know, Kyle and I usually race really well together, usually never have any issues, and he tried to, you know, pin me down into the corner underneath Brad, and we about crashed on entry, and then I was still trying to gather it up by the center, and I was going to spin out, so I'm trying to chase it up, and he was there. So, yeah, obviously nothing intentional, but obviously he thinks that, so I don't know, we'll move on.
Any blows landed between the two of you?
None to me.
Yeah, Joey
flat out just drove straight in the corner and wrecked me.
Any conversation between you and Joey, or was it just the fisticuffs?
That's how Joey races, so he's going to get it.
So basically they were battling for, I believe, 4th position. They both kind of got held up by Brad Keselowski there, and Joey had more of a run. He side drafted Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch spun out, and he was not happy about it, and Kyle Busch walked up to him, and he basically attacked him, lunging at Joey Logano, and Joey was ready to fight, which I have not really seen Joey really ready to fight that much as a Logano fan, but he was ready to fight. He got held back by one of his crewmen, and the crew knocked Kyle Busch to the ground, giving him a bloody forehead.
I remember when this happened, and I felt like this was the obvious choice to put at number 1 because it's the most memorable moment from the track. And I felt like that, of course, it was an accident. Joey Logano, he got a little too tight in that corner, couldn't, you know, save the car. He just got up high, just got into the Kyle Busch racing deal. It wasn't on purpose. But, of course, Kyle Busch was pretty frustrated about that because it knocked him all the way down to 22nd when they were up in 4th. Logano got 4th. Stretch Jr. won that race. And Kyle Busch, understand, I felt like he did sort of overreact, but at the same time, I could get why he'd be a little upset. And he went after Logano. I don't even know if he connected on that punch. I mean, He did throw a haymaker, but didn't look like he actually hit him. But of course, we've seen dozens and maybe even hundreds of memes about this fight. And Logano, he was being held back by a NASCAR official. He looked like he was trying to elbow the official. I remember when this happened, I got mad a little bit at Logano because I was like, is he trying to elbow the official? I don't know if he was or not. Debatable. And then, of course, Joey Logano's crew has to get in there and beat him up instead of Logano. I was hoping to see a 1v1, but no. Logano's crew just goes in there and just manhandles Kyle Busch. But Kyle Busch's crew couldn't get there in time. So at the end of the day, one of the biggest fights, or one of the most known fights in NASCAR history, and a bloody forehead for Kyle Busch and the #1 spot on this week's top 10.
Yeah, and I don't mean to ramble, but I just want to like say a couple of your points. First off, Logano said in an interview in his car when they were doing burnouts on the Las Vegas Strip that he dodged the punch from Kyle Busch. And from what it looked like to me, he was elbowing the official because Logano, like I said, he looked like he was ready to fight. He looked like, he was going to defend himself. Kyle Busch was lunging at him. I don't blame him whatsoever. And the official all of a sudden just had to help hold him back. And, I'm a huge Logano fan, like I've said numerous times on this podcast, but I don't like that his crew always has to go in there for him. It gives Joey a bad rap. And it does look like Joey's ready to fight, but then the crew just all of a sudden has to grab the guy and slam him to the ground and make themselves look like fools.
Yeah, definitely. It is a pretty crazy moment.
Yeah, so now let's get into our picks for this weekend at Las Vegas. Coming in for the Truck Series, I'm going to go ahead and say John Hunter Nemechek.
You know what, Mike? We always steal each other's picks. I was going to pick him as well. So John Hunter Nemechek's going to win the truck race. He's been pretty strong at the track, especially at a 1.5 mile track. So I think he'll get the win.
And then next up, we have the Xfinity Series. I don't know. This is kind of a risky pick, but he leads a lot of laps. So I'm going to go ahead and say Daniel Hemrick. I mean, the win is coming, I feel like, but he just cannot put it together. We got to do a list where drivers who will get a win soon, who should get a win soon. So
yeah,
I don't know. Hemrick is definitely on that list. He's never won a race in any NASCAR series, and he's raced in all 3 national series. So it'll be exciting to see him get a win.
I think that's a good point, Mike, and I want to see him get a win too. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go with Myatt Snider. I've seen the 2-car win at Las Vegas before, and I feel like Myatt Snider will actually break through and get the win.
And finally, for the Cup race, I'm going to go ahead and say Kyle Larson.
That's a good pick. 2 in a row. We'll see what happens, but I picked Larson to win later on in the round, but for the Las Vegas race, we've seen him win there before, and I think Rowdy Busch is going to get the win, even though I'm not a Kyle Busch fan, as I've said before. I think Kyle Busch will get the W.
All right, and so with that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Follow our social medias. Join our NASCAR Fantasy League. Subscribe to our sports channel. And we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Peace.